I got a question for you, dear viewers. These days, ever see a movie that you enjoyed get trashed?
15 grand.
Is it loaded?
Yes, sir.
Well, then I'll pay the tip. What's wrong with you?
So I sat down to watch a movie with my girlfriend on a cold, rainy Saturday night. What to pick? Ooh, The Electric State. What's that? Oh, it's got the chick from Stranger Things and the dude that played Star-Lord? Sure, why the hell not? Well, after watching this movie, I have to say that I enjoyed it. But did the rest of the critic-sphere like it? What was Rotten Tomatoes saying? And is it me, or is the critical drinker off base with his opinion on this one? Join me, dear viewer, as I dive back into the raging dumpster fire that is modern Hollywood. Before we dive in, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to make sure you never miss out, ring that notification bell too. It'll help us break through the YouTube algorithm and keep this channel growing strong. Ever since Avengers Endgame, I really haven't heard much from the Russo brothers. Until now. The Electric State is a 2025 Netflix film directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, loosely based on Simon Stålenhag's 2018 graphic novel of the same name. Set in an alternate 1990s, the story follows Michelle, played by Millie Bobby Brown, a teenage orphan searching for her missing younger brother, Christopher, played by Woody Norman. She is accompanied by Cosmo, a robot who claims to be connected to Christopher. Their journey leads them through the robot exclusion zone, a desolate area where sentient robots have been exiled following a failed uprising. Along the way, they team up with Keats, played by Chris Pratt, a former soldier turned smuggler, and his robot companion, Herman, voiced by Anthony Mackie. Together, they uncover the dark truth behind Christopher's disappearance and the role of Center, a corporation led by Ethan Skate, played by Stanley Tucci, in exploiting advanced technology for control. So rather than review this movie on its own merits, I'd like to provide a counter-argument to the critical drinker's take on this film, as that could open the conversation to the broader topic of YouTube reviewers. I think it'll be a lot more fun to do it this way, so let's get started, shall we? The whole point of the Drinker's review was that The Electric State is bloated, derivative, and lazy. While The Electric State does have a large-scale production and a mix of genres, that doesn't necessarily mean it's aimless. The film attempts to blend sci-fi, action, and emotional storytelling in a unique way. Just because it doesn't fit into a conventional blockbuster mold doesn't mean it's a failure. Some of the best sci-fi films like Blade Runner and Children of Men were initially seen as slow or meandering, but later gained appreciation for their atmospheric storytelling. Is it derivative? Not really. It's a fresh, original take on the whole 90s nostalgia that we haven't seen much of. I view it more like a Fallout-style nostalgia piece, but instead of the 50s, it's the 90s. Another complaint the critical drinker had was that the movie had an absurd budget of $320 million and fails to justify its cost. Yes, $320 million is a lot, especially for a streaming-only release, but high-budget films aren't inherently bad investments. Much of this budget probably went toward high-profile actors, extensive CGI, and the overall scale of the production. While, for example, The Creator did achieve impressive visuals on a lower budget, but comparing budgets across films isn't always fair. Factors like union wages, filming locations, and marketing also play significant roles. It's not an apples-to-apples comparison. The Electric State is a visually ambitious project, and its budget reflects an attempt to bring Stålenhag's unique world to life, and it looks pretty great. The critical drinker also takes issue with the contrast between advanced AI robots and outdated 1990s technology, calling it jarring. But the juxtaposition of futuristic AI with old-school technology is an intentional aesthetic choice. It aligns with Simon Stålenhag's signature style, which often contrasts hyper-advanced sci-fi elements with nostalgic analog settings. This anachronistic world design is meant to create a unique atmosphere rather than adhere to strict technological realism. It also reinforces the idea of a society rapidly advancing in one area, AI, while stagnating in others, kind of like the real world. A commentary on uneven technological progress. It's the same thing with cyberpunk and steampunk, for example. The Drinker also goes on to argue that Hollywood is now shifting from the 1980s nostalgia to 1990s nostalgia, and he resents it. Cultural nostalgia cycles roughly every 30 years. Just as 1980s nostalgia was prevalent in the 2010s, it makes sense that the 1990s are now a reference point. Additionally, the setting in the Electric State isn't just nostalgia bait, it serves as a deliberate creative choice to frame the world in an era before digital globalization fully took hold. This allows for a more localized analog feel to the film, enhancing its themes of isolation and disconnected technology. Critical Drinker also claims that the film doesn't develop its characters well and that Michelle's arc isn't compelling. My counter-argument is this: character-driven sci-fi often prioritizes introspection over fast-paced action. The Electric State is fundamentally about loss, human connection, and identity in a world that has moved on. Michelle's journey isn't just about action, it's about coming to terms with grief and finding meaning in a fractured world. While the execution may not work for everyone, the attempt to balance character drama with sci-fi spectacle is not inherently flawed, and I think this movie does it pretty well. Drinker also seems to believe the cast, despite being impressive on paper, gives uninspired performances. Acting is subjective. Some might see restrained performances as phoned in, while others might interpret them as fitting the film's somber dystopian tone. Chris Pratt, for instance, is known for playing charming and energetic roles, but his character here may require a more subdued performance. Likewise, Millie Bobby Brown has been praised for her emotional delivery in previous roles, and her acting choices might be more nuanced than they appear at first glance. It's all a matter of perspective. Another thing that the Drinker mentioned was his claims that there are no impressive moments of spectacle and that the CGI is underwhelming. Not all sci-fi films need bombastic action. The Electric State is more about atmosphere and mood than about high-energy set pieces. While some may find the action lacking, others might appreciate its quieter, more contemplative approach. The visuals may not be groundbreaking, but they fit within the stylized world the filmmakers were aiming to create. And trust me, my girlfriend certainly noticed a lot of little inside jokes in some of the set pieces. Sort of like blink and you'll miss it. The CGI and set pieces are set up strictly to elicit that feeling out of viewers. The Drinker also believes that other better projects could have been funded instead. Well, you know what? Films are greenlit based on a variety of factors: existing IP, director reputation, audience demand, and studio strategy. While the Electric State may not appeal to everyone, that doesn't mean it lacks artistic merit or an audience. Shit, look at the discrepancy between critic and audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes. 74% of the audience enjoyed this movie. So Drinker, buddy, you're in the minority on this one. It's obvious that the majority of viewers appreciate the unique visual style, the philosophical themes, and the slower-paced sci-fi storytelling. Hollywood produces both massive blockbusters and indie darlings, and the existence of one doesn't necessarily take away from the other. But what I will say is that the producers made a massive mistake not releasing this movie in theaters. It would have done at least as well as another silly sci-fi adaptation, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Differences between critic and audience scores have been the norm on Rotten Tomatoes. It's actually the same thing on YouTube. Content creators like the Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, Jesse Grant, and others made their fame and fortune on YouTube by hating on the movies of the day. But like I've mentioned before, there is plenty to hate from the dark age of cinema, and we're finally emerging from it, which is an important distinction, and I think the content creators in the YouTube sphere that like to hate on everything need to rethink their strategy given the massive shift in the cultural zeitgeist. Not all new movies deserve hate. I mean, it's only March and 2025 has already had a whole handful of real bangers. We've gotten Companion, Last Breath, The Gorge, Novocaine, and My Dead Friend Zoe, which was an excellent movie. On the TV front, we've been treated to the excellent new entrant into streaming, Hulu's very own Paradise. Things are looking up, And I don't think hating on everything is the right way to go for us YouTubers. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy the electric state? Did you think it deserved the hate it got? And are reviewers like The Critical Drinker as relevant as they used to be? Please do let me know down below in the comments, and as always, hit that like button, ring that notification bell, and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okie dokie.